Hi everyone, welcome to the Surviving Life Today podcast, the place where we talk about how we're all surviving life today. I am your host, Kelly McFarland. I am an anthropologist, researcher, farmer, food activist. I specialize in local food. And this is a Loaf and Leaf update. It's actually an update. I guess it's an update to a few different places, but we'll see how it all kind of pans out. I did want to make a little update on the farm and where everything's going. I'm trying to be pretty consistent in these Loaf and Leaf updates, but really what we're doing right now is the farm work days. It's the queen's we, it's me and the little mouse in my pocket, but I have been very busy flipping all of the garden beds and getting everything in order. I worked on the bulb garden a little bit. I have a long way to go with the bulb garden, and I have other garden beds that I need to get ready for planting. So I've kind of pushed the bulb garden aside for now, and I'm working on the garden beds in order to get everything planted, and then I will pick up the bulb garden when I can get to it later in life. I did do a little video of a garden tour, and I will put that probably here. So right here is my bulb garden. This was originally the garden that was it was the garden that the former owner of the house had put here, and so it is on the homestead property. I used to do tulips for sale. I haven't done those in a while just because when COVID hit, the prices for tulip bulbs became a little bit too much. So trying to figure out a different cut flower path. I tried for a little while, but cut flowers were more of something that I like as a part of the farm and not as the main feature. So what has happened is, there is a chicken in my daffodils. Look at this. Anyway, what has happened is my daffodils have grown bulbs that are so big that they are eating each other. So, I have been transplanting them. You see these are kind of not the best looking. The whole point here is that these daffodils on this side, see that? Yeah. It also is mixed with weeds, it looks like. But these daffodils, the bulb itself is too big, so I have to dig them up and space them out, or else they won't bloom. They all tried to bloom, and none of the blooms became flowers because they are too close together. So I need to transplant those. So what am I doing right here? Basically, this is the depth that it gets dug to. It's about 4 inches, I guess. And then I take the daffodil bulbs and I split them about 3 inches apart and bury them. The hardest part, I think, is putting the dirt on top. There's my dirt for later. This is a very long project that has taken forever, and getting the amount of dirt right. Like you see, these have sunk in pretty low here. So I'm gonna have to come back and put more dirt on top of that. It's just I had to get the bulbs covered so they don't die. So next season, all these daffodils that you see all the way to the end. And then I still need to work through those. I'm tired. It hurts your back. But those need to be transplanted as well. I also started a bed over here. This bed, I totally didn't have enough dirt in. I just covered it because it was like U-shaped basically. And then right here is where it will continue. So I've mentioned it in other videos, but our mulch that we got from an area, kind of like the city said they had a mulch pile, was full of weeds, and so now my garden is full of weeds. And so I do have to dig all of this up anyway to get rid of the weeds. And so that's kind of the process I'm going through. So right here, this isn't too bad because that's when I had realized that we had a problem. And so this, I'll probably turn over the top of it, but I might, instead of planting daffodils or a bulb, I might do like a row of like cosmos and zinnias, sorry, gomfrey, those type of flowers that grow easily in Texas. So anyway, that's the bulb garden. So I just walked through the gate to the main garden area. Right here is all of my grapes. I'm actually so sad. Last year I tried to keep the faith that my favorite grape would come back, but it did not. I think maybe I manipulated it a little bit too much. This one actually, it's just the season. It hasn't started growing yet, but you see at the bottom it has new growth. And on the top, this is a later season grape. But then here you see the ones that have started growing. I don't know if I can get this. There we go. That is a baby grape. And so they are growing grapes. I am usually a researcher and a teacher more than a farmer. I farm as kind of a second thing, but now I'm kind of becoming a farmer. More of a main thing, I guess. But so the grapes, usually I lose them to the birds. I need to look up how to not lose them because this plant has a ton. Look at this. I fed them this year, so my grapes are like coming in. Pretty cool. Anyway, but the birds always eat them, as you heard the bird flying over me. This is my favorite grape that I am going to turn into, I think, a scarecrow. I have visions of a scarecrow out of this. I'll put it right here in my garden stand. These are extra pots. I have a willow tree that is falling over that we're going to cut trees out of, and I'm going to put it in there. This is another grape. It's starting to grow grapes. You can see that little bunch right there. And then we also have a lot of cactus that likes to try to grow, that I can't stand it because I got a handful of cactus the other day. And then here's my garden, and as you can see, I am in the process of turning my garden over. I tried to cover up spots with this black tarp last fall. Didn't work as well as I wanted, but it actually did work pretty well, and it should be pretty easy to turn it over because of this strip of black that goes through it. I am working in this direction. Right here, I won't be touching this. This is garlic, you see. I do need to dig up those weeds within the garlic, but I don't even know if you can tell the difference between this and that. That's a weed, that's garlic. Garlic has a thick root in the middle, so you can see like this part right here is like the shaft of the garlic scapes, they're called. In a few months it will send up a long stem, and the stem blooms into like a thistle looking flower thing that's pretty cool. But if you cut off the scapes, they taste really good if you grill them and put them on top of steak. So the idea is everything that you plant you want to grow. Right here, this was a tomatillo that I haven't cut down, and then my gourds. My gourds are for projects, craft projects, gourd houses. I really like to make. Look how pretty. They also are really cool if you make lights out of them. You can drill holes in them and make like pattern lights. Oh, a bunny! You punks. The bunnies are just taking over. Right here, this is a ton of garlic that is growing also. And I believe I did separate it last fall. So the garlic is the same as a bulb garden. You plant it 3 inches deep, 3 inches apart, and the bulbs have space to grow. You can see where I have put a ton of stuff on the ground to block the weeds. Anyway, So right here, this bed I have been working on turning over. Carrots are planted here. And I'm gonna actually go back and plant them some more because I don't know if my seed planting bicycle is working. So I'm just gonna do it by hand. And then right here, I planted some cantaloupe. And I'm going to plant some cucumbers. It's supposed to rain tomorrow night. Right here, this bed is freshly turned over, so there's nothing planted here yet. I do have potatoes and sweet potatoes to plant right now, farming by the moon. The Farmer's Almanac says that it's time to plant root vegetables. So my main focus is on root vegetables, but I also wanted to start some seeds. Cucumbers, I have striped Armenian cucumbers, which are very much recommended to grow in this kind of climate. So I've got those, and they grow into the summer. And I'll be planting some of those. And then right here, this setup is for my potatoes. As you see, I kind of put a grid underneath it, and then I have this potato cage around it. I'm also going to put potatoes here, but I have to fight with my chickens. So I want to create a recipe for success. This bed is dug out, here it's dug out as low as it needs to go, and then I filled in leaves and dirt from where the water washes out, and that is full of nutrients. So that's why I put it in there. And then leaf rot is actually really good to feed plants, so I just put leaves in my beds. This bed has not been cleaned out yet. I'm going to do that after. And so you see the cardboard, I'll just move that aside. That I'll put somewhere else. And then the walkway, this is where we really got the mulch problem the worst. These were the main culprit, whatever the nut grass or whatever that is. I hate it, but I'm gonna try. And then that's also Johnson grass. The Johnson grass was weeds that I have always been fighting that took over with the nuts grass last year. It is such a pain in the butt, but I'm trying. Right here, these are Mexican petunias, and they are coming back. So I'm just gonna cut their sticks shorter because they don't grow anymore, and they're gonna send up new ones. So that's what's happening there. And then here, last year I had a tomato here and peppers, and then I had some bok choy here. This is a sunflower, and I am not going to allow the sunflowers to grow in my garden this year because they're punks and they take over. And I think that's about it. So as I go, I'm just gonna work on planning, work on the weed pulling, and then the FFA at my kids' school is having a sale today, and I am going to buy plants, and I'm going to plant some seeds. So that's the plan. Thank you for taking a tour, and I hope you like my garden. Ta-da! I'm going outside to measure, and I thought I'd take a video. It rained last night. I'm draining a cart. These are gourds that I will be hanging. I pulled them down, not Clyde, or actually Stella, my youngest child, pulled them down. We have to hang them to dry them fully. Once they're fully dry, they can be made into gourd houses. But I'm coming out here because I'm checking on the plants I planted. There's the bulb garden. We're not going over there right now because I didn't do anything over there. Anyway, we got a good rain last night, and I planted all those root veggies, so I just want to see. And then I also got a bunch of FFA plants that I planted, so I'm just checking on those, and then I've got to measure something for an idea that I have. So everybody looks pretty happy. I uncovered the carrots. I'm hoping that we will see some sprouts very soon here. I've got 6 rows of carrots. Oh, look, there is a sprout. 6 rows of carrots planted here, hoping that they will grow and the chickens don't get in here. I do see some green sprouts coming up. Anyway, we've got squash, spinach, marigold, spinach, marigold. That's another squash. And then in a diamond pattern here, I've got cantaloupe seeds. I don't know if those are going to work. They're old. Spinach. That's salvia. Bell peppers here and here. Salvia, bell pepper, marigold. And then here is the same thing, mirrored. Okay. This has not been planted. Right here we are thinking about corn. I've got some black Aztec or blue Aztec corn. Right here I planted potatoes. So come on, potatoes, I want to see you grow. Right in the red is sweet potato, and then outside of it is the squash, and the rest has not been planted. Starting right here, I need to amend. So I didn't, over here and beyond, I mixed in dirt from a rain washout that we have and leaves, and those help to break down and feed. But on this side, nothing has been amended or broken in or mixed in with the dirt, so we do have to amend this. And then right here we have some volunteer garlics. Here, I just cleaned this. I'm actually hoping for some volunteer tomatoes because that was where my Matt's Wild Cherry tomato was, and those are the best tomatoes ever. Right here we finally got this bed cleaned, and that was all Rich's doing. Let me say thank you so much to my husband, because otherwise I don't know if I would have ever gotten that bed cleaned. And then we need to work on that side. Right, so we've got 4 beds left over there that need to be cleaned. 2 of them have a bunch of garlic in them too. I am at this point in cleaning beds, and this is my Mexican petunias that I am getting the weeds out of, so it's taking me forever. And then the rest of this just needs to be cleaned out and planted, and amended and planted, let me say. Be sure, because chemical fertilizers are going to be so freaking expensive this year, you need to look into amending your soil. And amending your soil means mixing it with things that are good for it. So, leaves. If you have a place where dirt washes out, this is our pile of dirt from the city of Denton does dirt. And it's way cheaper to get a yard of dirt than it is to buy bags of it. Be sure if you amend your soil to work it in and give it a few days to rest before you plant. That was my good idea this year. We've got trees that are struggling, so I put these red guys around them, and they look to be doing better. Anyway, that was all. Just a little update. But we have all of those gardens in action. We do have a good bit more that we need to do on the farm with building. We need to, our duck coop in the winter storm, the duck coop fell in from the weight of the ice. It didn't hurt any animals. It is fine. It is functional, but we need to rebuild it. So that is something that's kind of like on the plate for the future. We also need to build more sheds. We need an alternate entrance. There's a lot of things for the farm that needs to be done. So those are right now on our plate. As far as the Surviving Life Today podcast, I have several craft type projects that I'll be putting up. I have a project with beads where I did beaded crochet to make these lovely earrings that I will be posting. And then I also have a video that I want to make of a sewing project. And I have another beaded one with hanging beads that I wanted to make into a little cute video. But that's where that is on that aspect of things. I also started talking to a business advisor for how to expand, and I have great ideas for locally yours on the farm and different ways that we can start to really build community around the farm. And that is kind of like the next step I'm going with for there. So we did get new chicks that we are raising. We just grow by small increments so that the girls can have like a really close touch on the growing of the animals. And so right now we have 3 chicks that are, I would say, about 2 or 3 weeks old. They're starting to get their feathers. Those 3 chicks are in the indoor brooding area so that they can be raised to go out overnight. You have to be sure that your nighttime temperatures are warm enough for chicks. So we'll have those inside for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then they'll go outside under a heat lamp for another few weeks until they can withstand the lows, and then they're free to join the rest of the flock. We also put some duck eggs in an incubator, so we are hoping that the duck eggs turn out. We just did that yesterday, so it'll probably be about 20 some odd days until it's supposed to be 28 days, but it might be less because they could have laid them a few days earlier. But we'll keep an eye on that. And then I am planting. And so that's everything that's going on with the farm and those types of things. It's really been such a busy spring on the farm, and I have a lot of plans for what we need to do next. But I just wanted to check in with a little update. And I think that's about all that's happening on the farm right now. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please leave them below in the description and I will try and answer them. And please like, subscribe, hype me up. And until next time, whatever you're doing in life, I hope that you survive and thrive in all that you do. Take care.